thank you all for attending. Welcome to the 2022 Duke Law Outstanding and Noteworthy Endeavors Awards, commonly known as the Dunn Awards. My name is Benjamin Spencer, and I'm the Academics Chair for the Duke Bar Association. At this time, please sign in via the QR code so I know how much food you all got. Now, the Dunn Awards are an annual tradition here at Duke Law. Today, we gather to recognize the contributions and achievements of 3 students, 3 student organizations, 1 staff member, and 1 faculty member to our community. It is my honor to present these awards to our terrific recipients today. To select the award recipients, nominations and feedback were solicited from the entire student body to recognize the peers, organization, faculty, and staff who have made valuable contributions to Duke Law over the past year, creating a welcoming environment and exemplifying the values of academic rigor, social community, respectful discourse, and generosity with both time and energy. This year, we received almost 100 nominations. The award winners were finalized by a committee of students representing the classes of 2022, 2023, and 2024. While the committee is, by tradition, kept confidential, I would like to say thank you to those who took the time to serve on the selection committee. Every submission was carefully reviewed, and I'm confident that the chosen award recipients deserve the recognition that we are giving them today. In total, we have 8 different awards. We'll start with student organizations, then students, then staff, and then we'll finally end with our Distinguished Teaching Award. Each recipient will be invited to briefly speak after being presented with the award. And with that, let's begin with the student organizations. The first award is for the greatest role in building relationships. The term relationships is construed broadly, including those between students, faculty, staff members, guest lecturers, practitioners, and alumni. Every organization strives to create a welcoming community, but this year, one organization went above and beyond in creating an inclusive, enjoyable, and educational Duke Law. In the nominations, one student wrote, "The mentorship, friendship, and general sense of community has made the group extremely active, and our enthusiasm has inspired us to continue working to build the most supportive and connected organization possible." Another said that this organization has grown exponentially, growing over the past 4 years from just 3 members to over 50, with a full executive board. And finally, one nomination said that in an environment that makes it feel easy to feel lost and overcome with a sense of imposter syndrome, I never felt alone at Duke Law because of the effort that this organization has put into building a sense of community and fostering relationships. The award for the greatest role in building relationships goes to the Latin American Law Students Association.
So I only felt it right to bring up the entire executive board, without whom none of this could have been possible. I would have brought up every member of LALSA, but they're very active and not all of them could join us. Thank you so much to everybody who voted and everybody who has either participated in our group or has liked an Instagram post or connected a member who hasn't yet joined us and directed them to us. It's not too late, because literally this group is like family, and it's really hard to grow up in a very diverse community and fight for diversity and inclusion, and then to enter into a field that is not quite as diverse as it should be yet. And so just working with this exec board and all the membership has been a reason to keep going, a reason to keep studying even though you're exhausted, to keep planning events even though it's so stressful and you worry that anybody will come. But yes, I truly think that LALSA is has been among the most important and powerful parts of my experience. I hope yours as well. And I just hope that we can continue to, as I've been quoted saying already, sorry, that means I say it ad nauseum, but to continue to lift as we climb, because it's only through the support of others and each other that we can continue to fight for progress, inclusion, and diversity in the law and in our country. Anybody else want to say anything?
That's her.
All right. This next award goes to a student organization for their outstanding contribution to Civic Discourse. This award recognizes the Duke Law organization that made the biggest impact on providing a forum for engaged civil dialogue for students and professors alike. This year's recipient successfully organized a series of events that spoke directly to one of the most controversial topics in public conversation today, while doing so in a respectful and educational manner: the participation of trans athletes in sport. Every member of the Duke Law community was invited into the conversation with an eye towards how this discussion could be used to become better, more effective lawyers. One member wrote, "This programming actively challenged attendees to assess their biases and help inform us on how to be better lawyers." After one of the events, I remember eating lunch with a few of my peers when someone said, "Checking your privilege and opening your mind is the most effective way to become a better lawyer. Empathy makes you a better advocate for your client." These events were informative, topical, and above all, moving. They provided both a high-level overview of these issues, including important history and context, and humanizing individual stories about how the law is being weaponized. But it was another student who summed it up. Not only did this speaker series introduce this multifaceted issue to the law school community, but it also encouraged us to think about the ways in which the law can be used as a tool for good in fighting injustice. The award for outstanding contribution to civic discourse goes to the National Lawyers Guild.
Thanks, y'all. Sorry, this made me kind of emotional, those testimonies. I'm really grateful for hearing that. So I just want to, my name is Claudia Benz. I was the president of the National Lawyers Guild this year. I want to start by just thanking everybody who made these events possible. Our speakers were Katrina Karkazis, Michelle Kretsch, Jess Braverman, and Karen Greensmith. The work for this event started before me. There was a student before me who kind of set this in motion, so this speaker series was a long time coming. I was really excited we were able to make it happen this year. Thank you to the NLG board for everything that you did to make this event happen. Thank you to the Outlaw board for sponsoring with us. Thank you to all of our co-sponsors and to everyone who was present at the event. I see a lot of people here who I saw there, so I'm glad that people were there engaging with the speakers. I think these events really matter as is uplifting and supporting trans people and trans athletes. All around the United States right now, we're seeing horrifying violations of trans people's rights, from children not being allowed to play sports to legislation in Alabama that's denying trans children from getting gender-affirming care, to vicious personal attacks on athletes like Leah Thomas who just want to compete. It's important that we continue to uplift trans people and combat harmful narratives that are being pushed about them all around the country and unfortunately even here at home at Duke Law. Academic freedom and debate are extremely important, but we can't allow these things to be used as a shield for harmful and damaging rhetoric about trans people. I'm hopeful that events like our speaker series can counteract some of this rhetoric that's being used against trans people and to undermine their rights. The work definitely doesn't stop here. We can't let these events be the end of our advocacy. We all have our own spheres of influence. And I encourage everyone here, who's cisgender, myself included, to consider all the ways we can be better allies towards trans people and listen to them when they tell us how to do that. I'm really honored that this speaker series was a way that NLG could be part of that work. I really believe that a better world is possible, so thank you.
Our next award is Greatest Service to the Outside Community. This award identifies the organization that makes the greatest strides to give back to the community of Durham using practical knowledge learned from inside the walls here at Duke Law. One student wrote, "This project has set up 3 expungement clinics this year to help members of the North Carolina community expunge their records. It is difficult, time-consuming work that is almost entirely thankless, but it allows people to get new access to jobs and loans, to fully re-enter society without the burdens of arrests, dismissed charges, not guilty verdicts, and actions taken when they were minors. This organization is small, but the work they do is anything but." And another student simply said that this project is the most meaningful work I have done in my capacity as a law student, even if the work itself isn't flashy. The award for greatest service to the outside community goes to the Fair Chance Project.
Hi everybody, I'm Allie Rosenblatt. I'm a 2L and part of the board of the Fair Chance Project, which most of us are here today. So I'm honored to accept this award on behalf of the group, the Fair Chance Project, which is a student pro bono group dedicated to fighting collateral consequences of incarceration and entanglement with the criminal justice system. Having a criminal record has powerful consequences. It can affect your housing, your education, your benefits, your voting rights, which is an ongoing fight at the North Carolina courts with 55,000 votes hanging in the balance even as we speak today. So we've offered our student volunteers opportunities in expungement of criminal records, driver's license restoration, voter engagement. Most importantly, I think organizing the expunction clinics brings together attorneys, students, and members of our community, allowing students to meet face-to-face or screen-to-screen with clients. Our goal is to help assuage collateral consequences through expungement and to treat people with dignity and respect that they all deserve, regardless of whether someone has a criminal record. This project has grown a lot over the past few years, and for that there's many people to thank. Dean Stella Boswell, who helped create this project and continues to support our mission in innumerable ways. Lauren Johnson, who's a 3L, who's really been a part of it since the beginning. Monique Taylor, who has already made many incredible, valuable contributions, including sitting on the Zoom for many hours while we work directly with the clients. Our attorney partners at D.O.N.E and the North Carolina Justice Center, including DJ Dorr, Jessica Luong, Laura Holland, to name a few, who selflessly volunteered to supervise students, and of course all the student volunteers that I see many of you here today, and the rest of the student board. So we're all really grateful for your nominations and grateful for the work that you've put into this project to really allow us to do that community service. So thank you all.
And with that, we will now begin with our individual student awards. So the first student award is for Outstanding Student Organization Leader. This award recognizes a student who has taken on one or more leadership roles and made a difference with those positions. The winner of this award is a dedicated and driven student organization leader. Several students wrote essays about her with a few notable quotes. She is the first person who made me feel welcome at Duke Law, and she's been doing so all throughout the year. I believe that her positive contributions and leadership in organizations make Duke a better space for all students. Another, she holds her positions with unmatched dedication, professionalism, and positivity. With her personal knowledge, she has made her groups open and accommodating communities for even the most peripheral members. She brings the qualities of an unforgettable teacher, an open door, a listening ear, encouragement, and genuine interest to her role as a student leader. Like a true teacher, she doesn't just tell people what they need to know, but ensures that they feel empowered to make their visions a reality. And finally, in a competitive school environment, she has brought heart, humility, charisma, and care to her leadership roles. Instead of focusing on personal accomplishments, she dedicated her time to building the next generation of group leaders. She turned her past struggles with being a first generation and queer minority into a passionate commitment to inclusion and celebrating diversity. She is truly unique, and Duke Law is blessed to have her as such an active part of its community. The award for Outstanding Student Organization Leader, for her formal roles in the Latin American Law Student Association and Outlaw, and for her informal roles as a beacon of support and encouragement for those around her, goes to Alyssa Reyes.
For once, I have no words. But luckily, I wrote a couple things down. So, first of all, thank you. This is not something I ever expected, and it was never my motivation for being leaders in two organizations that I care deeply about. But I do appreciate the acknowledgement and the recognition, especially as it helps uplift others. Believe it or not, being a leader is not a role I ever wanted. You know, I always thought leadership meant being right and having all the answers, which is way too much pressure and responsibility. But then, as I navigated my career and tried my best to avoid law school, there's a reason it took me this long to get here. But I realized that it was through the help and support of other leaders that I'm here, namely my mom, without whom I could not have achieved anything in my life. She was a single parent to 3 girls within 4 years of each other, so she is the strongest leader I know for having raised us and raised college grads and successful Latinas in the process. But then even other mentors, whether they were queer, whether they were of color, whether they were other lawyers, I could not have done this alone. And so coming into law school, I knew that my mission was to do my best to support others in ways that I could have been supported, and maybe like to get here a little sooner. And it was an easy choice to decide to lead 2 organizations that, again, I just care so deeply about. I want to thank Michael Biondi, president of Outlaw, for his support, and the rest of the board. Thank you, Michael, for your leadership and tenacity. I know it wasn't easy. And then the law school board. I mean, you guys continue to amaze and impress me. Every time I was worried about how much work there was to do, there was another person there just as loud as me, ready to take on the work. Whether it was me and Kaylin sitting outside of Star Commons, like, okay, how do we ask firms for money? She killed it, by the way. Or Nicole and Talia trying to just execute tons and tons of programming for our team. Lee, you are an inspiration to all of us, in and outside of Boston Outlaw. And Arturo, thank you for being my mentor. Edward, who is not here, but it's okay. He's on his way, I guess. But he was my first mentor and the first person even before law school started, to make me feel like I had a place here at Duke that would always be comforting, supportive, and fun. And I hope that I've been able to help do that with the other leaders of all of the groups I'm a part of. Thank you, and last but not least, thank you all. Everyone here is a leader, and you all continue to impress me, and I couldn't have done any of this alone, so thank you, and si se puede.
Our next award is Outstanding Contribution to the Duke Law Community. This award serves as thanks to a student who, through their words, actions, and leadership positions, have used their time, energy, and passion to build the Duke Law community. The recipient of this award has created a safe and fun place for government and public service students. He is kind, and through his words, actions, and leadership positions, has given his time and passion to build Duke Law in a positive direction. A student said that when so much of the social infrastructure at Duke felt like it wouldn't come back to normal, he went out of his way to bring the social aspects of GPS back. The social hours that he has organized have been a great way to network, while also providing a much-needed excuse to take a break from law school. And finally, he has fought for public interest education and opportunities for students in an environment that skews heavily towards big law. Pursuing careers in public service and the government can feel paralyzing when you think about the debt that you're incurring to be here. Having mentors and role models like him makes it feel possible. Nobody has done more to go to bat for Duke's public interest community. The award for outstanding contributions to the Duke Law community goes to Adam Gold. Unfortunately, Adam is not on the North American continent at the moment. He has, however, been kind enough to record a video.
Community can be hard to pin down, but we feel when we are a part of it. It's study time in the library that turns into silly debate, late night cookout runs, the constant sharing of memes, the occasional sharing of tears, and the slow realization that your classmates are now lifelong friends. Community is what makes a new place feel like home. And for most students at Duke Law, Durham is a new place, a place where many of us did not know a single person when we arrived. That can be hard. It can be especially hard during a global pandemic and remote law school. But through awkward GroupMe messages, I now feel as if I have mastered sliding into someone's DMs, but in a friend way, texting all through Zoom class, and all the rest, we have mostly found our way. I came to Duke looking for a community that shared my passion for public interest work. And as demonstrated by the turnout at our GPS events this year, a lot of others were looking for the same. We have been able to create that community through lunch events that ease student worries about pursuing public interest careers, social events that bring us together, controversial t-shirts, my incessant posting in our GPS GroupMe, lunches with professors, and so much more. I am thrilled about the momentum the public interest community has here at Duke and excited to see where things go in the years ahead. I am deeply grateful for all who have been a part of GPS this year, for Stella and Bethan and their constant guidance, and for so many others who have been a part of my community and who have helped create it for others here too. Thank you.
Make sure this gets going sometime. Now, our last student award is the Richard Lynn Service Above Self Award. This was added a few years ago to honor Richard Lynn, a student who was devoted to serving his country, community, family, and friends. By dedicating countless hours to mentoring fellow students, helping friends in need, and providing encouragement to others, Richard Lynn embodied service over self. This award is not intended for recognition of one's performance in an elected or other formal role. The award instead recognizes character and actions that reach across the law school community without a leadership position or title. The student receiving this award exhibits the qualities Rich exemplified: humility, integrity, optimism, and generosity with time and energy. As Rich shared during his address at the 2016 Duke Law graduation, solid people who do the right thing on a daily basis can make a world of difference. This year's recipient has made invaluable contributions not only to Duke Law, but to the community beyond our walls. She serves on many organizations, including those of the Moot Court Board and the Transactional Law Society. She has given hundreds upon hundreds of hours to a wide variety of pro bono projects. Yet, despite these achievements, those who nominated her emphasized how quick she is to recognize and celebrate the successes of those around her. When she talks about her time at Duke Law, she doesn't talk about herself, but instead about the positive impacts that family, classmates, mentors, and friends have made upon her. I believe one student put it best: words cannot fully capture her effervescent, brilliant, and kind character. Her heart for service influences every aspect of her life, from her involvement in pro bono to her enthusiasm for her classmates. She believes in doing what is right, and she is a role model to all who meet her. Her extensive involvement and enthusiasm for pro bono, clinic, and extracurriculars remind us daily that to be good lawyers, we first need to be good people. The recipient of this year's Richard Lynn Award is Amanda Juice.
Sean, get any photos before my mascara runs. Thank you. As the children's book, The Lorax, reminds us, unless someone like you cares a whole awful lot, nothing is going to get better. It's not. As human beings, we are given the opportunity every day to change someone's life for the better. And as law students, we are given tools that others can only dream of to do that work. We can stop an eviction and keep a family housed for months with various litigation strategies, or we can try to help expunge a recovering addict's criminal record to give them a second chance at a fulfilling life. All it takes to help others is a desire to help, and the rest will follow. I want to take a moment to recognize the people who inspire me and are the heroes I look up to every day at the law school, because I would be nothing without them. First, I want to thank my mentors, Professor Bradley, Professor Forbes, Professor Holton, and DJ Dorr, for always taking the time to answer my questions, encouraging me to do my best work, and believing in me even when I don't believe in myself. Second, I want to thank Jen Kaplan for constantly being my cheerleader and checking my grades every semester because I won't do it myself. And finally, I want to thank my wonderful friends for supporting me in everything I do. Even though that often means tolerated my divided attention, I literally expunge criminal records on the phone the whole time, and they tolerate it. And for lifting me up when I feel defeated. And I especially want to thank Sydney Engel for thinking that what I do merits some kind of an award, and for finding others who agreed with her. I am truly the luckiest person. It is a privilege to attend Duke Law, and I am deeply honored to receive this award. Thank you.
And now is the last of the student awards. So now we're moving on to staff and faculty. It is my great pleasure to announce the second ever Distinguished Staff Member Dunn Award. I will click it this time. This award was given for the first time last year to recognize a staff member that helped smooth the transition to virtual learning. Now, we are thankfully back in person and actually eating in this room, which is amazing. But the contributions of our staff members are no less valuable today. This award goes to a member of the staff who has gone above and beyond in their commitment to creating an exceptional law school experience. One student said of the staff member that we honor today, she is consistently helpful, competent, and lovely to work with. She's the person that I know I can go to if I need help with anything at the law school. From helping with jail mail, legal calls at the prisons, and securing client access to the clinic, She does everything immediately and thoroughly. She cares about us as students and goes out of her way to make our learning experiences as pleasant as possible. Many students simply said that she does everything. So in recognition of her unwavering commitment to the students of Duke Law and the essential work that she does to allow us to grow to the best we can be, the Distinguished Staff Member Award goes to Marlene Dale.
Hello, everyone. Kind of strange being up here not doing a course evaluation or not doing an exam. Congratulations to all the recipients today. It's quite an honor to be here with you all, and you are quite an impressive group. I must say that I am pleasantly surprised and extremely grateful to receive this award, and it's nothing less than an honor. I must say that it's been an absolute joy to work with so many passionate, hardworking students. Allie, Claudia, I see a lot of familiar names here. It's so great to see you. The faculty, they've been so appreciative and supportive of my time here at Duke Law. And, you know, I see them as friends, not just the faculty that walk around the school. Love them dearly. Shout out to the Clemency Project, Wrongful Convictions team, the Wilson Center. Just everyone has just been so fantastic with the almost 6 years that I've been here. I would also like to take this time to recognize the entire academic services team and how hard they have worked in the background over the past few years. To not do this without I must say, this has truly put a smile on my face, and I only hope to continue to be worthy of such a recognition. Thank you so much, everyone.
And the final award is the Distinguished Teaching Award, which has been presented annually since 1985. It recognizes student appreciation and respect for our professors, who have instilled in us an enduring appreciation for the law and an abiding respect for those who educate future lawyers. Every year, the winner has emerged from a highly competitive field of professors, and this year is no different. There were many good nominations, including several coordinated writing campaigns, but the winner serves as a true reflection of the excellence in teaching at Duke Law. The recipient this year is an outstanding teacher and mentor to all of his students. One student wrote that, "When I hit my mid-semester slump, was feeling unmotivated by school and didn't do very well on his final, I went to a meeting with him and couldn't have walked out feeling better. He reminded me of the importance that lawyers play in our society, what kind of contributions I could make even while in law school, and assured me that everything was going to be okay moving forward. It wasn't a generic speech. He truly cared about me and valued my experience being a positive one." Another said that if I had not had the privilege of being in his class, my first semester would have been incredibly discouraging, bewildering, and I would have seriously contemplated dropping out. I can feel the difference now that I don't have him for my second semester. But I am pushing through because of the words of advice and perspective-shifting insights that he generously shared and made part of the classroom experience, where the focus was on learning, interacting, and thinking big picture, and not obsessing over grades and employment. The nominations and praise went on for pages, but I believe the best quote showing his dedication to his students as both professionals and as people is this: "He cheered us on as our section won our first softball game, and he kept cheering as we subsequently lost every game." So, without further ado, it is my pleasure to present the 2022 Distinguished Teaching Award to Professor Jeff Ward.
Thank you, Benjamin, appreciate it, and thanks to all the secretive people behind the scenes who make this happen. It's just nice to have a celebration, and so I know a lot of work went into it, so thanks for that. And I know it's a really busy time of the year when these go out, and the fact that any students take the time to nominate folks and take time to write, I just really appreciate it, and because of that dedication, we get to celebrate all these wonderful people. So I used to teach high school. I had a really close friend and colleague there named Jen Ennis, and she once said to me, "Jeff, you're really good at teaching gifted students." And I can tell you, Jen was the kind of person who was good at teaching all students. She was somebody I really looked up to and still look up to, and somebody that when I think of a distinguished teacher, I think of her. And telling somebody that they're good at teaching gifted students is a little bit like telling a wheel, you roll really fast and far downhill, right? I think there's some truth in what she said. If we roll fast and far in my class, I think it's mainly because of the circumstances, because of the conditions. And the primary condition is that we have just wonderful students at Duke Law. I mean, like stupidly wonderful students at Duke Law. I mean, we just saw a small snippet of the wonderful things that students do outside of the class. You know, I mean, look at Lulsa, holy cow, right? I mean, walking up here with an absolute army of wonderful people who are dedicated to each other and hearing just a small part of the resume of some of the students. I mean, that's what students are doing outside the classroom. I think any faculty member here can assure you just as wonderful things happen inside the classroom. You know, I think if any observer were to come to my classroom and walk away, they're pretty certain not to say so much about what I did, but they would talk about the students and their energy and their humor and their insights and their willingness to take risks, and especially during the last bit of time to support one another steadfastly and really earnestly, and they'd be really amazed by those students. So I like that this is a Distinguished Teaching Award, but I think at least in my case we might want to call it the Distinguished Learning Award. All I do is ask my students to do a lot, and they respond really consistently with energy, lots of learning, lots of flourishing. And so for that reason, I just want to say thank you, students, for being the people you are. Unbelievably gifted, hardworking, kind, always eager to grow. You make Duke Law a very, very special place to be, so thank you.
So, let's give it up for everyone one more time. Before I let you all go, a few things in closing. First of all, thank you all for choosing to attend the 2022 Dunn Awards. It is our one opportunity as a student body to recognize those who make Duke Law, Duke Law. Every award recipient has made invaluable contributions to our community and deserves these awards. Thank you once again to the members of the selection committee for taking the time out of their busy schedules to choose these wonderful winners, especially during the middle of appellate brief crunch time. And thank you to each and every one of you who submitted nominations. Some people wrote essays and some classes organized write-in campaigns, but all of the nominations were passionate about the individuals they were putting forward. We read every single one, and it became clear to me and the entire selection committee that this law school community is filled with the most passionate and kind organizations, students, staff members, and professors. You didn't make our choice easy. Again, my name is Benjamin Spencer, and I am the Academics Chair for DBA.